Auto-generating entry 111. Calibrating. Calibrating. Unique, New York. Unique, New York. What do we do when the abyss calls? Testing, testing, testing. This recording assumes the author known as Sugar Beard. We answer.
Auto-generating entry 1. Calibrating. Calibrating. Unique New York. Unique New York. What do we do when the abyss calls? Testing. Testing. This recording assumes the author known as username Sugarbeard. We answer.
Hello? Jeez, alright. I don't like people. They're mean. And they don't give a crap about you. I mean, they do if it benefits them, but there's no one invested in anything beyond themselves. And I guess that's by design, but I just don't see how the world works through that. It doesn't. And it bothers me.
2. Sometimes I find myself in the midst of a spirited discussion with a classmate. They seem to know what they're talking about. They seem to actually care, but soon enough, one of their friends inevitably butts in and completely debases the conversation into bullshit. And we're left in a two-sided conversation involving 3 fucking parties. Well, the third party offender goes on and on about bullshit on television, and my former companion's left appeasing their ineptness and half shrugging at me between breaks. The other one's stammering torrent. I eventually feign a content state and turn away, scribbling some non-existent reminder in my day planner, barely hearing a professor whose mind is still in the fucking 80s. The others, it's not their fault. Not always, at least, either. Look, I am a stick in the mud sometimes. If it's even something I find stupid, I feel really odd seeing someone light up about something they're excited about. I feel left out. I don't know. Look, I know it's selfish. I don't care. Seeing them that animated and alive, I can't really participate. I don't know how to treat him as a friend. I can't function. Not everyone can be my favorite source of self-pity. How's that for a proverb, Professor? 3. Mom promised that her and Dad had most of my expenses covered. I would graduate with a relatively small amount of debt in the form of student loans. I did not know the true extent of those details, but their insistence left me the very opposite of paranoid or anxious. Regardless, I still feel like garbage on the days I had no classes, a few friends, and no obligations. And I sat at my computer in my single dorm room, staring idly at the computer monitor in front of me. I decided to look for a part-time job. I had initially refused anything even tangentially related to the food service, but then of course I recalled that was how I found my only healthy relationship a few years ago. If it was macabre or a sign from above, I don't know, but I threw my name into the hat for a few food service jobs, an office maintenance position, an IT internship, and a grocery store stocker. I was almost done scrolling through the job search website when public listing caught my eye. Public research assistant. Government grants available. Part-time work. Perfect for students. Well, shit. I clicked the link. It was even for information technology, and it didn't reveal much beyond that. 4. It promised $10 an hour and lunch. I could even work from home, which would be my dorm at the university. I would sign into this terribly rendered site, put on my headphones, and review some sort of audio files that were uploaded by users of the public site. I had not known that this was an experimental social media that I read about months ago. I thought it just faded off the grid, but here it was, government sanctioned. Data mining at its finest, I'm sure. Look, I didn't know the nature of the site. I only saw the terribly undecorated logo with the name of the project, Shoutbox. And then I looked forward to my paycheck. The first night I listened in, I didn't know what to expect. I'd assume it may have been, town hall meetings or other bullshit minutes. The first time I plugged in, the first night I started my job, I was met with an uncomfortable reading. I was met with an uncomfortable recording. The man's voice got closer to the receiver. I clicked to pause the recording. What the fuck was this? A message popped up and prompted me to continue to listen or my session would be timed out. I had no choice. It continued. Look, the guy wasn't a monster by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, he jacked off to his wife's sister a few times, but he seemed to really care about his daughter's education and his family's overall well-being. It was just weird. I didn't want to hear this information, but according to this man's apparent access to anonymous reconciliation, he just talked for almost 15 fucking minutes. When he was done, he offered thanks to a non-present spectator, and I heard a metal door open and slide shut, leaving the room he had been in vacant. The recording ended shortly thereafter. I'm not entirely sure what I was doing, but I'm not entirely sure what it was that I was doing. It was like fucking Yelp on amphetamines or something.
I'm obsessed with Minecraft and I think it might be tearing my family apart.
5. At least it took this long. 5 months. 5 months ago tonight was my last drink. Well, it was the former landmark of my at least it took this long, huh? 5 months. 5 months ago tonight was my last drink. Well, it was the former landmark of my sobriety, and tonight broke that streak. Badly. Almost an entire bottle of Jack. Well, fuck it. I mean, I went to a friendly campus mixer without any friends. People were inclusive, open, they were welcoming. The girl, she was adorable, beautiful even. My cup of tea, the whole bit. It's what they say years removed from the fact, don't they? We hit it off. Assuming that you were still close, we might as well have been attached at the hip. We left the party together. But moments past the kissing, moments past the foreplay, moments after we lost clothing and inhibition, well, that was when it fell apart for me. I could have had it, but no. A bag of cats and anxious vagrants that live in my head had other plans. I kissed it too deeply, too much, and the painful stab of an absent lover dug into my gut. I pushed off of her, apologized, and told her I couldn't do it. You know, she looked very upset. Looked away from me, got dressed, and left. I stared after her for many moments after she left my room. The door was closed, and I still saw the ghost of a silhouette shattering the empty space for far too long. Eventually, I turned out the lights and laid on my side. Like, I was drunk, okay? I was lusting, I was lonely. I pulled out my cell phone, I opened up my voicemail. Shut up. I scrolled back far into the camera roll, the voicemail archives to last year. I found the last message from a contact named Angie, and I clicked play. Seven. Lorraine, my supervisor, has been sporadic in her emails recently. She seems to be hinting at taking a leave. She's been sick, you know, the whole shebang. The woman, charming lady, wrote all of her emails in dark blue Comic Sans. It's a pity. She seemed really nice. It's the usual around here. Classes are a fucking drag. I'm progressing at a failing rate. Time goes by, I cling to old photos and voicemails like a child in their doll. We all have a crutch. Eight. My friend from the other night, yeah, she's taking my whole social ineptitude in stride. I try to explain to her, briefly and sparing many details, why I was not quite ready to hop into a relationship, physical or otherwise, and she promised that she understood me. She told me that there was no pressure or in our interactions, that we could develop a friendship, first and foremost. We're both new on campus, her a freshman, and me and a socially limited senior. We made plans to take advantage of a student government mandated perk and take the buses into the town this weekend for a show. A favorite band of ours would be playing in a cafe in Seattle. Look, it wasn't typically my thing, but I desperately needed to get out. We teased at these plans becoming concrete as she enthusiastically made it a yes. Her dyed hair, strands of blonde artificial colors bouncing with each and every nod. You know. We'd go on Friday afternoon to the rec center and depart with the other concert goers. My friend's name is Callie. 9. Ethics. Shut up. Ethics class. Business ethics. What not to do in business to avoid going to jail. How to not be a terrible human being. What is this, a class? God, these dorm students. The syllabus reads like a primetime schedule on court TV. Nothing but case studies and articles. It's like a fucking warning. Your typical human being doesn't need this class, but as a business program, I suppose they need to iron out their more persuasive or, easily persuaded students. Don't want one of your own heading the next Enron, I'm okay with case studies. I don't mind classic philosophers either. But the names don't begin to run together. Mill, Kant, Hume, Mill. I'm reminded of the Canterbury Tales, each of them sharing a story, and each of my brain cells fucking dying one at a time in a rhyming cadence of couplets. I got an A on the first quiz. Yeah, Lorena's also gone. I guess she got a job somewhere else or moved to a different department. I'm gonna miss her emails. They're signed with smiley faces. My new supervisor's name is Michael. His emails bear poor grammar and Times New Roman.
Welcome, huh? All right, I'll wait. Can't I just say then how ironic it is for you to welcome me here in these four glass walls? Just like home, huh? A homecoming of sorts to a biblical epoch of objectification for display, a monument of sorts, all primed, spick and span, an avatar custom fit to society's commandments, stipulations, constitutions of what it is to be acceptable. Flesh and bone, tailor fit to ill-fitting shoes. The daily commute of gratifying genocide of individuality being a fine line drawn by broken souls. Or should I say broken soul? Do you look at your feet to find the answer? Because they sure as hell don't come with no odometer. Trust me, I sure as fuck would relish in the opportunity to find out how many steps I had to take to find someone that finally would listen to me. And it's a bloody phone booth of all things. Now I am your display in a glass box. I'm your doll. I'm a return to customer service because I can promise you I don't come with a mirror, a purse holding the perfect little poodle, or a red fucking buggy. Those are sold separately, contrary to what the commercials led you to believe. What I do have is a story of realizing that I've been dancing with a corpse for years. A corpse of someone.
10. It has not been a terrible week at all, but I am ready for it to be over. Gallah's been force-feeding tracks to listen to in preparation for this weekend's show. The band's not terrible. I could easily enjoy their sound. What actually creates a fist of anxiety and the whole, do I really want to go in my gut, that I feel that I already know what the makeup of the crowd is going to look like. Like level with me for a second. That the band released a prominent album in '98. Its sales on vinyl outweigh the contemporary formats exponentially. This is a show in a coffee bar. No, not a cafe, a coffee bar in Seattle. So as you can imagine, the hipsters. I'm expecting lackluster beards topped with thick-rimmed glasses with eyebrow piercings and wool knit hats, like the whole Portland thing. Angie would have felt right at home. I have no room to really criticize. I fit the bastard image perfectly. I had a drink tonight. One drink. It's a step. 11. The show was great. Callie was great. Everything was great. I would hazard to say normal, but then I'd be lying to myself. Something odd did happen. I'd met Callie outside the rec center and gone on a bus with about 30 other students on Friday afternoon. I realized that my previous hypotheses were correct. The girls all had streaks of color in their hair, Callie was no exception, and countless dangling bracelets and rubber accessories on their wrists. The guys were varying weights of my initial assumptions. Those lacking facial hair made up for in tattooed necks and sunglasses. It was a good crowd. I think Callie saw me dissecting her fellow passengers and nudged me. She added more streaks of blue to her blonde hair, specifically for the show, I believe. You know, for a moment, the universe synchronized with her coyness. A streak of sunlight filtered through the window and lit up every last one of her beautiful features. Her hazel eyes struck me the most, and I was done looking down on the crowd. I was content. I was calm. I would enjoy my night. We got to the venue and I was surprised at the size of the place. It was tiny. It was basically a bar-sized coffee shop with a stage and sound system rigged into the back corner. Upon entering the bar, it was lined up in the entirety of the right. Upon entering, the bar lined the entirety of the right-hand wall with the throng of people and eventually the stage on the left. It was wall-to-wall with people, many flowing out into the streets. I mean, they knew how to draw a crowd. As the show went on and people began sweating, it became stuffy. Aroma-based relief would come every so often in the burst of steam from behind the counter, refreshing the coffee scents and actively working to tear down the stench of head-bobbing hipsters. The band had been on for about half an hour when I leaned down and put my mouth to Callie's ear. And I said, I'm gonna step outside for a moment. She asked me if I was enjoying it, and I said, yeah, definitely. I just need some air. She offered to come, but I insisted that she waited. You know, they were, after all, her favorite. I didn't want to have to miss a moment. So I sidled past a guy with dreadlocks and avoided the discarded plastic cups of beer and cigarette butts lining the floor near the exit. The outside crowd had died down and only a few people stood smoking and talking. A guy and a girl, both wearing green canvas army surplus jackets, nodded at me and I smiled before walking a few more paces down the street. I ducked into an old building stoop and sat on the top step. I finally felt comfortably isolated. My only company, the Asian telephone booths across the sidewalk from me. A crowd of people came out from the restaurant across the street. They were dressed infinitely better than any of us at the show. You know, they looked happy. Married. Slightly inebriated, all of them. 4 couples. I watched them walk and laugh down the block and disappear around the corner. I stared after them until a sliding metal door on the... Shut up. Until this sliding metal door on the leftmost phone booth opened and a weird woman exited quickly and walked away. Exit pursued by a bear. There were 3 closed booths, all stainless steel and windowless. The one on the right opened, and a man who looked like he just got out of work from an office job brushed himself off, nodded at me, and then walked away. How in the hell, in our day of smartphones and the like, were phone booths is popular? So I rose up, and I stumbled over to these booths. So I put my hand over the smooth silver door. The door. Okay, so I put my hand on the door and it was like humming. It felt like it was humming under my touch. I looked just above the door and I saw it. Shoutbox. Paid for by the city of Seattle and its citizens. Supplemented by federal aid for the advancement of public medicine. Well, what a small world. The text was branded into the metal in an incredibly tiny font, discernible only if you were this close. Suddenly the booth vibrated, and the door slid away under my touch. A startled older woman jumped upon seeing me and giggled, "She's all yours!" She chuckled as she walked around me. The inside of the booth was bathed in a pale white light. I glanced back towards the bar. Callie hadn't come looking for me yet, so I stepped in. The door sealed behind me, and the lights, dimmed automatically for me to be comfortable. It was like this warm gold. Felt like a sauna. It was very dark, but comforting. golden circle of light on the wall in front of me pulsed. It's like a radio announcement, like,
Welcome to Shoutbox. Supplemented by government grants and private research funding, Shoutbox is an experimental program seeking therapeutic and anonymous release for our fellow citizens. Upon the sound, feel free to express any and every thought and or opinion that comes to mind. Use this unlimited time as a means to vent your frustrations with the world, or just have someone listen, even if indirectly. Your identity will not be recorded or attached to the audio log. Nothing you say will be held against you, criminally or otherwise. Thank you for your cooperation. When you are finished speaking, simply touch the door and your session will end. Enjoy the rest of your day. Your people thank you.
So the yellow light turned green and I could hear faintly white noise, so I didn't know what to say. Hello. I like school so far. I like having a few friends. I miss Angie. I miss my dog. Goodbye. Pathetic, right? I tapped the door and I heard a beep. The light returned to yellow. And then I heard, "Thank you for your cooperation. Thank you for your contribution." So the booth re-illuminated to the pale white color, and I stepped back onto the street. They closed behind me, and I took a deep breath. That was different. A warm hand took mine. It was Callie. She was smiling. She asked me, "Are you all right?" And I say, "Oh yeah. Let's go back in." So she turns away and she let me back to the show. 12. We ended up at one of Callie's friends' dorms late Friday night, and we drank a lot. We didn't get stupid or anything. I ended up walking her home. I was stumbling into my building just as the sun broke over our campus. For the first time in a while, being drunk and alone at dawn was not an indicator of a terrible loneliness or crippling depression.
Okay. I guess I don't really know how to feel anymore. Even when I want to be angry or something, I just mostly feel empty. Sometimes I think that I'm not even a person anymore. Like I'm just bits and pieces left over from someone who used to be real. I used to feel things, I think. I don't know when it stopped, and I don't know how to get it back, or even if I really want to. It's not good, but it's easier to feel this way, or not feel, I guess. I don't remember the last time I felt happy, but I also don't remember the last time I felt like crying. So it's not all that bad, I suppose. Sometimes bits and pieces of who I used to be show through, like habits that I can't break out of. This was stupid. I should go.
I should feel bummed about drinking, but I'm not. When you have nothing and you drink, that's emptiness. When you're sad and drink, that's poorly coping. When you're drinking and celebrating, that's being young and maybe even happy with the people you love. I crashed and I slept really well, like incredibly. I even woke up with the distant soreness of complete slumber. Jesus cartwheeling Christ. I mean, I know I shouldn't talk too much about the program online and whatnot, but they didn't make me sign an NDA or anything. I'm pretty sure I can talk about this since it's already live, but you're never gonna believe this. I sat down to log in some hours of work this afternoon. You know, disclosure around 8 p.m. I mean, I got to bed around 6 a.m. Sue me. And listened through some of the tracks. Wouldn't you fucking know that after hearing a woman talk about a cat and a guy complain about Obama, I click play and I hear my own fucking voice? You know, for a second the hair on my neck stood up and I laughed at the coincidence. I sound like an asshole. Oh, I miss my dog. Goodbye. You know, fuck that. I commented on the track and I wrote a note that it was my own recording and clicked through a few more. I submitted them and I signed off. I think that's all due for work this weekend. I should really get started on some homework tonight. Really not looking forward to it. I just now realized that I found myself judging myself negatively for not feeling the need to have vented to the shoutbox about Angie. About losing my best friend, the person I loved. I'm too tired for this shit. 14. You know, I officially miss my other supervisor, Lorraine. This Michael character's a real asshole. He emails me, terrible grammar and all, bitching about my submissions last night. He's fucking fuming. I am not allowed to review my own material. You're not allowed to officially submit previously viewed files. And I shouldn't have gone into the booth in the first place in order to avoid this potential conflict. Our logo is very present on the box, didn't you see it? Fuck off. He threatens my position and my already fucked up pay. It doesn't even sign off. He just threatens me with reviewing the situation with HR. This guy's a fucking asshole. I apologized and I told him that no one had given me these warnings and that I didn't fucking know it was such an important scenario to avoid. I promised him I wouldn't let it happen again, obviously. I suppose I should look for other part-time jobs now, if he's serious about this. Fuck him. Update. I don't believe he actually tried to get me fired. A representative from HR, her name is Rose, emailed me with a string of forwarded emails. So anyone reading this doesn't get an aneurysm from his typing, I'm gonna refrain from copy and pasting it. Basically he said, can you believe this? And a bitch for a few more paragraphs. Rose responded by telling him that she'll review it with the others, and later on she told Michael that she'll speak with me and that he should calm down a bit. I would apparently face disciplinary action, but that they were not terminating me. Of course, he bitches back, but she doesn't respond in this chain. At the topmost portion of the document, she's addressing me. She tells me not to worry, that my position is secure. Rose just tells me to listen to what Michael was improperly trying to tell me, that I shouldn't use the shout boxes, and if I did come across my own recording again, that I should tag it and ignore it. "15. The week started fine. I read an article about all this NSA bullshit going on. Really boils my blood, but what are you gonna do, huh? Best case scenario, you waste your time like these Occupy Wall Street types. Worst case is you become a martyr. Or other scenarios the opposite. I don't fucking know. I don't really want to do that. Not nearly enough people know about the Big Brother bullshit or care for someone to give their life for it. Hey, hello NSA crawler, who's inevitably listening to this. I decided that I wanted to run after lunch at the rec center's gym. I lasted about 6 minutes, alternating between jogging and walking. I am out of shape. I came home and I fell asleep. And now I have a fucking migraine. Because of course I do. I should be, and I have been, drinking water, but all I can think of is the almost dead bottle of Jack in my closet. It's not nearly enough to get loopy, but I think it should be enough to stave off any withdrawal symptoms. I'm gonna take some ibuprofen, the shot, and a glass of water, and go to bed. Good night, world. 17. Life is good. Why the fuck do I still get the shakes? Why the fuck am I so cold all the time? Cold turkey isn't cutting it. God fucking damn it. You know, I've been saving money. I've been doing all right in class. I'm entitled to a drink or two, right? You know what? I'll write a better post if I feel like it when I get home. Fuck this. You know what? Your Saint Sugarbeard finds it hard to quell his vices. Boo fucking who. $18. Fuck this job. Fuck this job. It was fine until this fucker Michael took over. He's not even my boss. He's just some, I don't fucking know, supervisor assistant. He had the nerve to email my personal account today, not my work account, and harass me about my fucking slip-up. I told him if he sent me anything else about it, I'm gonna show HR and have his ass fired. He didn't respond. I still have half a mind to fucking grill him. God. You know, with the workload I volunteer, I'm averaging 2 hours of audio logs a night. Sometimes, if I'm lucky, it's only one poor soul ranting for a whole 2 hours. But most of the time, it's the aimless and anonymous wants of dozens of strangers. You know, strangers asked me desperately for things that I cannot grant them, confessing to me things both horrible and beautiful that I cannot experience with them. This job is putting the pressures of a burdened God on the shoulders of me. A college fuck-up whose closest friends are a manic freshman and a clutch of confused companions. Fuck this shit. It's not really fair to Callie. She's only supportive. Her friends help. They all do. But they can't stave off this withdrawal. And I'm not talking about fucking booze.
Okay, so I'm at the barn and I'm doing my rounds and I'm giving everyone their banana slices and their apple slices and stuff like that. And I've got in my hoodie pocket a bunch of Honey Smack cereals because that's like everyone's junk food dessert for like after they eat all their fruit. And as I'm going around, I'm doing my rounds. I just gave my own pony his blueberries. Not all the horses there like blueberries, but Max likes his blueberries. So I gave him some blueberries. And as I'm going around, I noticed that one of the goats is on his side. And I got very worried because he's like not really whimpering, but he's making like distressed goat noises. And I'm thinking, oh no, what happened? So, you know, I get over the fence and I'm like inside his enclosure. And pretty much the second I'm on the other side of the fence, he jumps up and he charges at me and he takes the bag of Honey Smacks out of my hoodie and he's trying to eat the whole entire thing. Like he's going for the plastic even. And I'm like, no, you shouldn't be doing that. And I try to grab it away from him. As I'm trying to grab it away from him, he is trying to hit me with his horns. And the other goat, the whole time this is happening, he just keeps charging at the gate and like hitting his head into the metal fence. But like that brings me to my next point. I'm sitting here and I realized that I just got tricked by a goat, which out of everything in the barnyard is like the last thing you want to trick you, because as I just mentioned, their idea of fun is throwing their head into things. But it got me. I got schmoondled by a goat. And I just don't want to come to terms with that. But so anyways, I had to offer him a couple banana slices, but he did at one point drop the bag because, as I said, it's a goat, and they're dumb, and they don't understand that if they already have food, they should just eat it instead of going for other food. But like, so finally I got the Honey Smacks back, but at what cost, you know?
19. And isn't it incredible what a single week can do? 20. Callie and I went to dinner last night with a few friends. It was a quiet night. Nothing major happened. We started talking about work at school at the table, and we stumbled upon my gig with the shoutboxes and whatnot. Apparently Paul, one of our mutual friends, was really interested in it. He was talking about Bloomberg is trying to get them kicked out of New York. The reports of infrastructure fucking up and the interface problems. And I'm like, what the fuck you talking about? And he's like, I don't know. Their engineers apparently got sick since the program went live. And he's like, be careful, man. Maybe they'll increase your pay. They can't keep employees over there. And I'm like, what? And the table would laugh about something stupid from a recent movie, and I was left staring at my plate. I mean, I'm obviously not an engineer, but what the hell would lead to these people getting sick? If people on the back end are getting hurt, what about us? 21. Michael sent out his resignation email today. He's being reassigned, a la Lorraine. I'm glad he's gone. Let's see what the hell they bring up this time. Wonder how many other kids on campus, if any, are also working for this program. Anyway, my migraine is rolling back in. Should probably see my doctor back home sometime soon. I haven't seen Mom in a while either. Maybe that's what I'll do this weekend. 22. I don't fucking believe it. Okay? Why in the fucking hell would they make me listen to that? Fuck this. Callie is coming over. We're gonna get drunk. I'm gonna drink to fucking blackout. What the fuck, Michael?
Hey baby, how are you? I'm just passing by to tell you that everything went well, thank God, and that I miss you so much. Like, you can't even imagine how much I miss you. And I'm so happy that we're gonna see each other again soon. Can't wait. I love you so much. Bye.
24. Yes! That's Angie's voice. Yeah. That was a clip that I directly listened through my work software. The fuck are they trying to prove? Is this against me? Am I going insane? Is this Is this actually her? Is this actually her? "25. I spoke with Callie. I spoke to the campus therapist. I spoke to my mom. They all say it's her. I emailed Michael. He says nothing. I get no response. My program's no longer connected to their servers. Did I say too much? No, I don't care. I don't care. Almost done with the semester. Only 2 term projects left. I'll be amazed if I last. My short-term goal is to last until Christmas. That's all I want. To not go fucking crazy until then. Maybe the new year.
Someone I thought I was. Someone I thought I was. A corpse. Of a man. And how do you bury him? Huh? How? Is it with the mounds of foundation, highlights, contouring that tells you somehow it's all going to be okay? Is it with the ritualistic shedding of body hair that clogs your shower like some fucking proverbial heartbeat in the floorboards? Oh, how I would long to bury him in the floorboards. What an honor. But I can't. So how do you cease to tango with someone who's dead inside of you? You stop dancing. You kill a part of you. You burn the pedestal you've been instructed to stand on to display a monument towards your sins. You burn the glass walls from which you've seen happy partygoers heading to cushy homes, from which you've seen the people you thought meant a lot to you matter just enough to wish that the rain would come pouring into your glass walls. At least goldfish can forget about such things. I can. I can forgive. Or I can forego enclosures, display, for poor fitting shoes, trinkets. You name it. Thanks for the listen.
26. Mom called me today, frantic. A man tried to serve me a summons. I was obviously not there. She told me to expect it sometime today. Fuck them. I didn't do shit. I'm going away for a few. Callie knows a place up in the hills we can go. Whoever's reading this, you government lapdogs, you fucking servile scum, you can go fuck yourselves. I did nothing wrong. I found a recording of my dead girlfriend in your program. You explain me that. Update, I received an email. My work told me to stay at my on-campus address. They wanted to schedule a meeting about my pending termination. Up until now, they hadn't been so blunt. I guess I shouldn't have maintained this record. Cheers all. 27. Michael emailed me. He apologized. He told me that it was a load of bullshit. It was all front. Move to Canada, get the fuck out. I don't know what he means. I'm at an IHOP right now with Callie. She's in the bathroom. I'm on my netbook. Yeah, keep tracing me, fuckers. Michael gave me his personal cell number. I gave him mine. He told me to expect a call within the next few days. Callie and I are regarding this as a vacation. SOS. 28. I spoke with Michael. First thing he told me was to drop the charade of names. Oddly enough, I'd been kicking around this idea for a few weeks. It should be apparent, but such niceties were never my forte. Callie's not the name of my friend. I never worked for a Lorraine or a Michael. Shoutbox isn't the name of the project. These were all placeholders. Sure, such liberties taken are useless in hindsight, but the fact is I try to protect the nature of these people and of this project, and now I'm on the run for exposing something about some project that I don't fully understand. They hate me. They need me gone, and all I did was work with them. Michael, or at least that's how you know him as, told me to wait further correspondence. He doesn't sound too much older than myself on the phone. He's also not nearly the raging douche that I had previously known. Go figure.
Vent my frustrations about the world, huh? Well, well, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with religion, politics, or money? Am I right? Shit. No, that's not what's eating me. Well, it is, but only when I see that shit on fucking Twitter or whatever. No, what's eating me is me. Everything that's going on inside of my head, you know? I just feel stuck. Like I'm spinning my wheels over and over and over again. It's like every fucking time I want to change or improve or just fucking do something, the world just goes out of its way to reaffirm all the bullshit that's going on inside my head. Everything it tells me about myself, how I'm a failure, that I'm worthless, that I'm better off just disappearing and all that shit. The meds help, but they don't fix the problem. And honestly, the worst part is that I can't even say that I was dealt a bad hand. You know, there are far worse hands than the one I have. Like, it's fucking 2 of a kind can win you the pot on the best of days, right? But most days it's not enough. It's almost never enough.
29. What he says scares me. It's complete and utter bullshit, but it makes sense. Somehow. Angie's been dead for at least a year now. Our accident was last winter. This program had apparently been operating since before then. With enough of an aggregation of information and confessions, this program would begin to hone in on trends and thought analytics. Unfortunately, in the meantime, our infrastructure was not yet prepared to fully utilize these insights. The voices of the dead. The fabricated voices of the omnipotent would be broadcasted to innocent, stupid employees such as myself. They demanded full documentation and complacency in order to detect where these anomalies would and could occur. And wouldn't you fucking know it, that it would be me? I don't know what they're actually calling the program now. Shoutbox, confessionals, mind speaks, I don't fucking know. They've changed it enough in my tenure that I'm sure now, with my little adventures still being active, they've changed it once more. Michael tells me that a girl in a similar situation in Florida has recently disappeared. She heard the voice of her disabled husband on the wire. She documented it and wrote a very emotional letter to her supervisor. She's been missing since May. Fuck this game.
Can I just say, I do hope that in addition to not criminally charging me for what I say, that you won't criminally charge me for what I do. Because what I do, I burn bridges. And I'm all out of matches. So it's your lucky day. As much as a lucky day as it was for me, finding a listening ear for once. Thanks again.
30. I met Michael today. It was at an abandoned hospital in the northern part of the state. There's no need for secrecy now. We've both left the premises, and you government fuck-ups couldn't catch us now even if you wanted to. We met at the Benjamin Macy Memorial Hospital. Well, at least what's left of it. And he gave me the rundown. There was a similar program in the 60s, but it never took mainstream success. The public had still apparently maintained a sense of a private life, but fuck. Today that notion stood no chance. The original shoutbox was in Deptford County, Washington in 1959. The programs were terminated 4 years later and put on reserve until more sophisticated technologies were available. And here we stand. I told Callie to go back home. But you don't know her as Callie. Whoever is reading this, you'll never know Callie. You will never know me. You can't trace her. She's just a girl who missed a day of school. One of thousands. She's safe. And you can't take that fact away from me. 31. Mom called me and said that the bank has frozen my loans for school. I checked in at an ATM. They've also frozen the entirety of my assets. Michael didn't have to ask me to know what happened after I got back into his car. Onto another town, another Wi-Fi access point, another hit. Callie texted me today. I should probably ditch my phone too. She told me that there have been police showing up every couple of days around my building. My door has been locked down after the initial raiding of my belongings. I hope they enjoy my stash. We're gonna hit a small library tomorrow. Michael says he has an idea.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've killed a lot of people. I don't I don't really know how to stop, and frankly, I don't really know if I want to.
$32. Well, it is something. We have an address, we have names. I don't know how he did it, but he worked through a bunch of public records and some not-so resources. He's a smart guy. I guess it was right to shroud himself in our previous correspondences. You reveal too much of yourself on the internet and people will assume they know you. Even you don't know my name. In fact, I'm pretty sure you thought you knew my exit until now. But even that is something you don't know. 33. I called my mother today. I called my sister. I called Callie. I texted my decent friends. With all the grace of a freshman experiencing shrooms for the first time, I told them all that nothing was wrong, but that I loved them very much and appreciated them in my life. My mother and sister don't know nearly how dire the whole situation is. Mom probably thinks there's, just an error with my account at the bank, and not that some government entity is smothering my life. We're in the same town as the facility. It's not too hard to find once you know what you're looking for. We're going straight to the source. We're going to find out why they're after us. We're going to provide a logical explanation for our naivete. We're going to apologize if we have to. We did nothing wrong. Voices of people dear to us, people who are dead, spoke to us through this program. We just want to know how. We just want to know why. I'll update you tonight. Wish me luck, listeners. Love and well wishes from your Saint Sugarbeard.
Thank you both for cooperating and for your timeliness. Your auditor has your verification sample, and we will close out the report when he returns. We apologize for the inconvenience, Michael, and wish you well in retirement. You are both fortunate that we were able to quell this, we are all lucky that we cut this off before it could spread any further. It goes without saying that, in the unlikelihood you find further traces of the quarantined project still alive, you immediately contact us and under no circumstances engage the unit. This uplink will be removed from the current device. Goodbye.